We are your today's presenter. I am Ardil Arminta
And I'm Susan Ardila Serna.
from AB English 3H2. We will be presenting our comparative analysis of
The Raven.
And to My Mother, written by Edgar Allan Poe.
Let's talk about The Raven. The Raven is an excellent narrative written by Edgar Allan Poe. The Raven was first published on 1845 in the New York's The Evening Mirror. The poem shows the fear of loneliness of a person who is victim of unlucky circumstances. The Raven is about a person who is traumatized by death of his love. The speaker of the poem tries to escape from his despair through reading. In the poem, knowing that the Raven can speak, the speaker disturbed on tapping the door and window, and he asks questions about Lenore. Lenore was the name of the narrator's dead wife in The Raven.
While the poem To My Mother talks about great love and gratitude of the writer towards the person he is talking to, and it was first published in the 1849 of July 7, and we always say that the writer's work always reflect on their individual characteristics, and that's what makes their work unique. The similarities of both poem, The Raven, and To My Mother are their theme. The Raven has a theme of rationality, grief, devotions, and love. While To My Mother also has the theme of great love, gratitude, and devotion.
Edgar Allan Poe is considered to be one of the most appealing authors to literary critics and psychoanalysis because of his melodramatic life story. A lot of facts from his biography are regarded to be invented and fictitious. Some of the legends were created and spread by Edgar Allan Poe himself. After a thorough studying of his biography, it should be mentioned that there is an event in Poe's childhood that influenced his works. It is death of his mother Eliza Poe in 1811. While his father had walked out the year before, so Poe became an orphan with his mother's death. He was taken in by John and Frances Allen of Richmond and Virginia and would live with them until he had reached adulthood. Although Allen never formally adopted him, the theme of a loss of woman is widely spread in Poe's fiction, as well as in The Raven. The narrator is in sorrow for the lost Lenore. The memories of her aunt, him, and are difficult to forget. Marie Bonaparte's her book, The Life and Works of Edgar Allan Poe, made the conclusion that Poe's literary works are driven by a strong wish to reunite with his mother. This desire makes him castrated according to the Freudian theory and unable to have normal relations with women.
The poetic devices used by both poem To My Mother and Raven are assonance. In the poem To My Mother, in the line "You are more than mother unto me," you can hear the vowel sounds of.
While The Raven, with the vowel sounds F, E, O, E, in the lines dreary, weak, and weary, and dream no mortal ever dare to dream before. Consonants. In the poem The Raven, with the repetition of consonants P, D, O, in the lines I nodded nerdy napping, suddenly calm, a tapping end on this home and horror haunted, tell me, truly I implore, while it To My Mother, with a repetition of consonants N, can find among their in terms of love.
The alliterations in the poem To My Mother are the sound ma and wa in the line "To my mother, my own mother, with which my wife," while the alliterations in The Raven are the sound s, wo, and na. In the line "From the book Sarkis the Last Sorrow, sorrow for the lost Leonore. Once upon a midnight berry, I pondered weak and weary," while the hyperbole in the poem To My Mother is in the line "His wife is dearer than to his life and his soul."
While the allusion in the poem The Raven, in the line perched upon a bust of Pallas, while the simile in the lines on the morrow he will leave me, while the imagery is in the line the silken, sad, uncertain, and rustling of each curtain.
This stylistic analysis attempted to examine the writer's style of writing using both Peace, The Raven, and My Mother written by Edgar Allan Poe. It also attempted to determine the similarities of both Peace. Therefore, this stylistic analysis focused on both poem structural analysis, poetic devices, poetic techniques, and literary devices. Therefore, this stylistic analysis found out that the poems
Raven uses more poetic devices such as simile and personification, which is not present on the poem To My Mother, that uses some literary techniques such as consonance, assonance, and alliteration. However, there are also differences in both these surrounds on the grief and sadness throughout the poem, while the poem To My Mother shortly discussed the sad death on the main character's biological mother, but later on, it pointed out on the great love and gratitude, thankfulness, happiness of the writers feels having the important woman in his life.
Thank you for listening and interest in our stylistic analysis. Once again, I am Arjun Arminta
And I'm Susan Ardela Serna
from AB English PH2.